Losers Bracket Podcast, Round 100 bonus episode. We are going to be going over the top 5 LordJerith rants of all time. I think that you all will enjoy looking back and sharing with us in this nostalgia. And Jerry used to be such a feisty little guy. I mean, he still is, don't get me wrong, but we're going to go back in time, back to 2010, and check out some of his best rants that he's ever given to us. I mean, we're going to hear things that are, well, for example, take this.
I can't contain my fucking ego or my rage. I need something bigger. The only thing I got right now is the World Cyber Games. And people telling me about little bullshit organizations all the time. Well, you know, so-and-so said, well, then go wear their fucking shirt. But I like your shirt better.
Then fucking wear my shirt.
Accomplished. Yeah, you know how they got accomplished? By not taking fucking shitty players like you who want money to wear a shirt to an event. And they're like, well, I'm going to represent your company. I should get something. What are you, in poverty? Get something. How about somebody give you a ticket to Haiti and you get yourself a fucking shovel and a fucking bucket and put a fucking foot in the world instead of sitting down your fat gaming ass thinking we give a shit about you? Kill yourself.
What's a shovel going to do in Haiti?
Fucking life.
And that's just the beginning of it. So, with that, I would like to say welcome to our special bonus episode for Round 100's celebration of the Losers Bracket. And we're going to start things off with, in my opinion, the 5th best Jerry rant of all time. This is all the way back from round 21 of the Losers Bracket, back in June 17th, 2010. This is Call It the Way I See It.
Once I started saying that and saying how they don't do anything, he lost it. He just lost control. And he started nerd raging so bad. And it got to the point where he said, I hope I don't see you in person. And he started threatening me, saying that he would kick my ass and kill me and all this. I said, okay, if you want to ruin yourself that badly and go that low, go ahead. But other people would prove it in game. And that's what I told him. I shit on him in Halo. I will shit on him on any game at any time. And he didn't want to accept the challenge. He's lost to every VVV person. And he's even lost to coaches and everything. He's terrible. This guy needs to quit playing.
So, yeah, if anybody knows Prodigy out there, tell him I said go fuck yourself. You don't impress me. You're shitty at all games. And when you actually do something good, please let us know. We'd love to have you on the podcast show so I could personally shit in your mouth and tell you how terrible you are. Matter of fact, speaking of shit in people's mouth, you know, the whole fucking establishment needs a cleaning. From Major League Gaming on down. If you want to have competitive esports in this fucking world, you got to do something positive that grows community. You know, like when you have a LAN event, have fucking chairs. Save money on the red shoes, get chairs. The other thing you need, too, is you need to, like, stop with the history lessons. If I have one more person try to attempt to tell me, you know, well, 10 years ago when Counter-Strike 1.6, who the fuck cares? You make it seem like you're so goddamn important. What the fuck did modern medicine do 10 years ago? We don't even talk about that, let alone your shitty Counter-Strike 1.6 clan. The bottom line is this whole thing needs a fucking enema. It needs to be cleaned the fuck out. I'm tired of the esports fucking crap. I'm tired of people calling themselves pro gamers. I'm tired of people trying to one-up everybody else with what they do. What was it, fucking DJ Weed on his Twitter? LordJerith better watch who he's fucking with. What the fuck are you going to do? Say bad things about me? I don't operate by ego. I don't give a shit what people say about me. Go fuck yourself. Oh, you better give credit to what we did. I listened to that fucking Sundance interview, and all it was, you know, DJ Wade, I wanted you to have a job. And there's fucking Slasher running around. Will you give me Quake Live? Will you give me Quake Live? And then fucking Sir Scoots trying to ask these difficult questions like, can I send an EG team without you contracting them from me? And this is esports? Come on, let's fucking call it out what it is. EG, that's not fucking competitive gaming. That's a fucking marketing company. We put together 4 or 5 kids, we get a couple other players who may have connections, and then we get their fucking connections to give us money so we can feed our Counter-Strike 1.6 team. But nobody fucking cares. Maybe in Europe, but certainly not here in North America. I mean, how many fucking organizations are there, and who the fuck pays attention to them? You know how I know that? Because every time I look at Esports Press, no matter how many negative kudos we get, VV Gaming usually gets 14 or 15 per every news item we put out there, and everybody else gets 2 or 3. That's how fucking small the esports community is. But you know what? Heaven forbid you critique it. What everybody wants is for people like, oh, you've been around, so fuck all that shit. Either do it or don't. They don't pay my bills. They don't do shit for me. I don't want to work with them. So I'm going to call out Prodigy for being a shitty gamer. I'm going to call out Empire Arcadia for not helping any of their players. You know what? I got an email from Empire Arcadia. This is how fucking stupid Triforce is. He sends me a fucking email. He CCs himself on it, and it's corporate at Empire Arcadia to Triforce or Game Master, whatever the fuck he is at Empire Arcadia. What, does he think that I think he has a legal team working for him? That's another fucking ridiculous thing. Then he says shit like, well, I'm going to sue Blight for the $500 they owe. No, you're fucking not. You can't pay your fucking rent. You go to your fucking throne room on Facebook and you have a powwow in which you quote on Facebook going to cut off all outside contact with the world. What the fuck is that? What planet do you live on? No legitimate business anywhere operates like that. That's a person's delusion. So yeah, I'm going to fucking pick on Empire Arcadia because it's bullshit. This is just one person who has taken people that are dumber than him and sadly exploited them so he can live his delusional dream of being the emperor. And if that's somebody's idea of esports, it's not any better than fucking competitive wrestling. I mean, you got to call it out what it is. I mean, the only smart thing I ever heard come out of Sundance mouth is we shouldn't have called it, professional. Yeah, you shouldn't have. Because a whole bunch of kids are running around trying to tell their mommy and daddy, I want to be a professional gamer. But there is no professional gamer, is there? And the reason there isn't a professional gamer is for what I said last week. Nobody spends time on the human capital, educating young people, helping them understand how to market themselves, helping teams understand what they need to do to stay together and work through problems. Nobody knows how to do that. Nobody invested any money in that. So yeah, when DJ Wheat says on his show, Jerry doesn't know, he's go fuck yourself. I'm not afraid of him. He could spend the next 7 shows saying shit about us or not saying shit about us. It doesn't matter. He's fucked either way. I'll call him out when I think his show is shitty. And I'll tell him when I think Sir Scoots hijacked his fucking show. And if that pisses him off and he says, I don't know what I'm talking about, go fuck yourself. You're the one who thinks Empire Arcadia is legitimate. Just go to fucking Triforce Facebook page. It doesn't take a lot of research. And Slasher's like a fucking yapping poodle. Everybody who ever fucking talks to him, he comes on with, well, you should know better when you talk to me because I'm a journalist. You're a fucking monkey. Go to fucking school. Get an education. Learn some real fucking skills. That's what you need to do. But this fucking happy horse that they sit in and they say, that doesn't work for me. So at the end of the day, no, I'm not afraid of the establishment. I'm not afraid of MLG, who's $42.5 million in debt. I'm not afraid of some 40-year-old guy who lives in Arizona that has this little marketing group called EG. No, I am irreverent of this fucking old guard, the people who put in a lot of time and we got burned. If you only knew how many times we had our hope dashed. Well, guess what? Hope doesn't fucking work that way. Business doesn't work that way. It works on fucking sweat, strategy, execution, measurement, and feedback. Business 101. So no, I'm not impressed. I know the bullshit lies. And I just call it out. That's it. This is what No Fluff is. This isn't a marketing show or a suck-up I want to try to get a job from you show. This is a fucking call it the way I see it. And guess what? If we are wrong, oh, I'm sorry, your Counter-Strike player does get $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. Woohoo, what a salary that is. My bad. I'll politely apologize. From the prodigies to the whole thing is a load of bullshit. And what somebody needs to do is actually get some thinking people together to figure out if you are going to have competitive gaming in North America. What is it going to look like? How do parents get involved? And here's a fucking free solution. Somebody's going to listen to my voice and is going to pull on DJ Weed or Sundance and go, LordJerith talks shit about you. And then you're going to listen to this show. And here's my advice to you. If you want fucking gaming to work in North America, index it to education. Somehow, instead of just giving cash, try to work with universities and colleges. Try to figure out a way to give scholarships and things so that parents feel their children have an opportunity in education, even if they can't be a professional gamer. Now, that's going to require a little bit of work. Now, here's a way for you to start. Why don't you go to non-traditional sports schools? Don't go to Ohio State, but try art schools. Or maybe the obvious one, video game development schools. Try those schools that don't have traditional sports programs. and see if they'd be interested in a competitive video game league. They travel to schools in their region, just like they do for sports. They set up for LAN, and they play for scholarships. That's going to take a lot of people to work with other people. And it's going to take some real investment, because as it sits right now, to me, most of esports, it's just a bunch of fucking gamers who were too lazy to go to college or never wanted to fucking grow up, and then somehow have deluded themselves into believing this is what they're going to do for the rest of their life. So instead of going to school or getting an education like any pro athlete would, they kind of hang out thinking, well, I'm trying to be a pro gamer, Mom and Dad. There is no pro gaming.
I told you things were about to get feisty. Was I lying? It's really funny to go back and listen to this and see how much has changed since back in the day when we were throwing stones at MLG to get their attention, and now we've had Sundance on our show 6 times. So really thankful to the community that's helped support us and bring on the guests that we have been able to bring on, because honestly, you are the ones that give us the credibility that we have. So thank you. Thank you very much. But alas, that was only number 5. We have 4 more to go. And number 4 is actually going to go back even further to the very first episode of the Losers Bracket. This is actually going to be what started it all. This is Nobody Cares from January 28th, 2010. Nobody Cares.
Since we're fucking asking me what pisses me off, is how much work it takes to run a gaming organization and all these fucking fake bullshit sponsors out there, right? I am up to here listening to 16 and 18-year-old kids fucking talk about their organization they're going to start. Right? Right? I don't even want to hear it. I get up every day. I run this organization. I talk to people, right? That's a busy day. On top of that, going to the post office, making sure that merchandise gets shipped, making sure that staff is doing their job, making sure we write our articles, make sure the content's up to date. And not to be a bit patting myself on the back, but let's drop my resume on the table for a second, shall we?
Oh, no.
In the U.S. Navy as a nuclear engineer, went to one of the finest graduate schools at the University of Chicago, worked as a consultant at one of the best consulting firms in the world at Accenture. So with all of that, some 16-year-old's going to come along and start his own gaming organization and run a fucking show. You know what? I don't think so. That's the first thing. The second thing that pisses me off is this idea that competitive gaming is about how good you are. Let me make something clear to you. In order for esports to grow, we need gamers who are social and can reach out to other gamers.
Amen.
You sitting in a fucking Xbox Live room going, get raped. Guess what? People look at that and nobody cares about how good you are. Well, let me tell you something. I know most of the people in my life don't know who the fuck Walshy is. So if people don't know who Walshy is, maybe you should just calm the fuck down and relax, because you're not that good. Esports is in its infancy. This is on a back of failure. Championship Gaming Series. We're going to fly kids out to the Playboy Mansion. We're going to put it on satellite television. But it failed. Not so easy, is it? So pull your head out of the Xbox and take a step back, go outside, and see if your friends give a shit about who Walshy is or not. And the only way you're going to make them give a shit about who Walshy is... Goddamn right I did! Exactly. Is if you're fucking out there and you're social. And guess what? If you're a good gamer, the people who are less skilled than you, they're people you should be nice to. Could you imagine Tom Brady going to a college football game going, don't come talk to me until you're at my level? What have you ever done? You are not Tom Brady. You are not even Walshy. And all those little young people who don't know any different, who dream of being a pro gamer and don't go to college because T-Squared got a one-page photo shoot in Entrepreneur magazine with a bunch of controllers on him to go down to his fucking house in Florida and hang out with the straight ripping crew? And you think that parents are going to get all excited about that? I'll give Dr. Pepper this credit. I bet parents would rather have their kid get $36,000 and go to college and get an education than they would have sit at T-Squared's house fucking learning Halo tips. That's the fucking truth. Pull your head out of your ass and understand that gaming has a long way to go. I'm just saying. I mean, that's just my perspective, you know?
It's rather hard to believe that that was pretty much almost 2 years ago to the date from the time that I'm recording this right now. But yeah, that was the rant that started it all 100 episodes ago. Big shout out to the people that actually helped start out the show. The other voices you heard in that clip were, of course, Mr. Perilous, Ryan McNamara. He was one of the original co-hosts, and also Kelly, Mrs. Violence, and then the sound clip played in the middle of that. One of the people who also helped start up the losers bracket back in the day, Josh, Crash, Sharp. So shout outs to them because, hey, they're the ones that helped get this off the ground in the first place. Onwards to number 3. We have a debate that's actually gone on many times. We still hear it to this day. Jerry, on round 18, gave his rant, and this is a little bit more of a calm, down-to-earth rant, if Jerry can have one of those. This was actually back from May 27th, 2010, round 18. This is Jerry's take on sports versus esports.
Well, I mean, I think also that there's a bit of an illusion going on. I mean, if you really look at it, not many people in North America see video gaming as a sport, and many people consider it as bad. They say that young people spend too much time gaming. We have obesity crisis in this country. We have parents who are very concerned about their children getting good grades. It seems to me in a lot of ways that we have a long way to go if we want to have staying power here in North America. And I guess this is what confuses me even more. I know when I think about people who talk about, certain games being true esports titles, my response often is not in North America. To be honest, we've got a Halo. That's about it. The rest is very much on the fringe. I think that's because most people in esports don't understand sports. I think that's the real problem. I think most of the people in esports are gamers. Gamers like to play games, but they've never had to sell it to anybody else. I mean, let's face facts. All gamers generally meet people who like the games they play. And then all of a sudden, they find somebody who doesn't like the game they play. And to be honest, they go emo. If I rag on like 1.6 for being a decade old and the old guard, right away they're all sensitive and I'm proud to be the old guard and all this other crap. And it's like, whoa, chill there, tough guy. I'm just pointing out that if we're going to grow a popular esport here in North America, we've got to consider what sports is really about. Maybe that brings me to the thing that most pisses me off in this conversation, and that is the question of what sports is about. This goes out to everybody out there who throws the word esports around and competitive gaming without thinking about it, because I want you all to know something. I want to tell you what sports is really about. I was pretty athletic, both in high school and in the U.S. Navy. I was the guy who kind of bullied nerds. To this day, I still pick on nerds. I'm 6'3", and, I've got no problem picking on kids. But there is something really important about gaming, and there is something really important about sports. Gaming is something that we do to learn, to try to be better, and sports can have, one or two definitions of this physical activity. Gaming is often associated with fun. Sports is often associated with winning and losing. But then there's something else. There's the business of sports and its role in culture and how it all works. I'm going to give you my humble opinion, but I don't think my humble opinion is just mine. I think what it really is what most gamers don't get about sports. And I think it's the primary philosophical problem with the idea of esports. The most important thing about fucking gaming is that we are competitive. And that is what sports is. And that is good. But the second part that makes sports sports, I don't see in competitive gaming. Let me try to explain this. Let's say I've got some 43-year-old loser from Arizona. He's basically divorced, has no kids, doesn't have much of a life. He's fucking lonely and probably going to die alone. And he's a miserable human being. Well, let me tell you what can happen for this loser. Come Sunday morning, his fucking favorite football team is going to play on that day. And when that favorite football team plays, he starts to feel a little bit better about life. And he starts getting all excited about watching the game on Sunday. And when he sits his miserable ass down to watch that game and his team wins, he feels better about his life. He feels like he has bragging rights. See, the one thing about sports that's really important is people can connect to it. They can be a part of it. They can feel like when their team wins, they are a better person. So at the end of the day, sports is about fans. But in gaming, no one's working on creating that. So if anybody ever wonders why in North America does no one give a shit about fucking gaming, it's because nobody in gaming gives a shit about fucking creating fans. That's the fucking problem. I listen to other people in the business talk about what they're doing, and everybody's so fucking concerned about protecting their own brand identity. It's so fucking complicated to work with anybody in this business because nobody gets what I have said from the beginning. It's about the fucking fans. So yeah, when somebody says to me, oh, LordJerith, you don't really have a true esports organization. You're much more community-based. How fucking stupid are you? Like, seriously, you're a fucking idiot. If you think that way, you're a moron. Because that community is what got Jake fucking into the World Cyber Games. That community is where fans get a chance to relate to someone and root for them. That's what that's about. Outside of the World Cyber Games, which is doing one thing good, and that's allowing national identity to play a part in who you root for in esports, because you can say, oh my God, that's an American, I'm going to root for it. But of course, because esports is so diverse and fragmented, many Americans play on foreign organizations, and some American organizations have foreign players. For example, we have a player from Brazil. The point at the end of the day is, who is working on the fans? Who is working on building the bridge between the players, the game, and fans? That's the question that bothers me. Because I don't need somebody from fucking EG or Complexity to know who the fuck we are. I could care less. They already know who we are. I need somebody out there who doesn't know anything about competitive gaming to learn about it. And when you sit behind your fucking desk and thumb your nose at everything that isn't what you believe to be esports, no one cares. No one's going to want to get involved. No one's going to want to play. And that's the problem. We're not going to have sports in North America of the E variety until somebody works together with other people to what? Oh, yeah, that's right. Create fans. Fans are created. It's part of the business. You have to give that 43-year-old loser in Arizona a reason to feel good. You have to make that kid whose parents are divorced and he feels like shit have something to cheer for. Something to be hopeful for. But that's not what's happening in esports. And until it does, I don't see it having a place in North America.
You know, it's very funny to go back and re-listen to these clips so long after the fact, when the original message was put out into the air, when these episodes first came out, and listening to the mentions of Sundance and Sir Scoots and DJ Wheat and these big names in the community, and the context of why the things were said back then when they were said, it's so funny. And I definitely think it's worth mentioning that Jerry and the rest of the Losers Bracket team had a little bit of a thought process back in the day when we first started, to throw stones until there was attention and then to talk about it. And now, no matter how rocky a relationship started out back in the day, now things are all smooth and things have all been worked out and everyone's better because of it. So going back and listening to these out of context, kind of interesting, but at the same time, really cool to know what came from these discussions that were started because of these rants. So let's move on to something that is actually, I don't even know if you would consider this much of a rant. Jerry says at the beginning it's not a rant, but it's really more of a passionate speech, and passion, I guess, is a key word here because the name of this is A Passion for Gamers, or A Passion for Gaming even, I might say. This was from round 22, our number 2 on the list. This was June 24th, 2010. And honestly, I feel that a lot of what he says in this still rings true to this day.
Well, this brings me to my sort of what I wanted to rant about this week. And I'm really not going to rant because, well, when I was sick yesterday, I really don't have a lot of the energy. But I've recovered now, so I'm feeling a lot better. I really had a good time today at Steel Series with Kim Ram. Just a great, great person. Sharp, knowledgeable, just a pleasure to talk to. And, it got me thinking about a lot of things, actually. And one of the things is that I saw this at the beginning of Devastation when DJ Wheat and Jedi Rob were talking about bringing communities together and, that people don't hate and they do this sort of thing. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if everybody got along? Wouldn't it be nice if people really did work together? This is where I'm going to take a step back. And I want you all to think about something. Because I'm never going to say this again before I get back to my normal ranting. I'll say it once. For those of you that know me as Jerry, know me as a person, you know one side of me. And then there's obviously LordJerith, which is a whole different side of me. So now I'm going to talk to everybody, our fans, our listeners, the VV community as Jerry. Gaming is one of the most amazing things on the planet. It is a cultural phenomenon that is changing the world. It drives technology. It drives the way we socialize. And unlike if you were to study history, you were to study great generation gaps or cultural revolutions, ours isn't the civil rights movement. Ours isn't looking at social change. It's not about rock and roll. Ours is about gaming, and it's happening underground. And I don't mean underground like hidden. I mean it's not on the surface. I mean, I think our caller had a great point about the mainstream media, about not actually being able to hear about competitive gaming in even independent media sites. It's our responsibility to change that. That's what we have to do. Because everybody out there is gaming, but nobody really is aware that everybody's gaming. Kim Ram and I had a great conversation about what Xbox Live could have done better and how true that would have been. But if you're listening to me right now, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for listening to this show. Secondly, I want to tell you, go to events, support event sponsors. You're going to have to vote with your pocketbook. You know, when you go to an event or when you go to the store and you buy a game, you're voting. You're voting for a sponsor, you're voting for a publisher, and a lot of people complain. But at the end of the day, the way you do something about it in gaming is you listen, you spread the word, you tell people about the stuff that's good. And yeah, when I piss you off, tell people how shitty I am. Because that's exactly what I'm trying to do, is to get your attention. And if you're listening, I've got your attention. So this is what I want you to think about. When I walk into SteelSeries headquarters and I see the passion that Kim Ram has for every single component that goes into making a headset, how long it took them to get just the perfect mouse, why I love the 7G keyboard, what good went into making it, you know what that is? That's passion. That's attention to detail. That's striving for excellence. Those are the kind of partners, the kind of companies, the kind of people we want in gaming. You're the kind of audience that sponsors want in gaming because you're plugged in, you're connected. The co-hosts on this show, the people that dedicate their time to making this happen, to editing it, those are the kind of people we need in gaming. So remember, at the end of the day, every complaint or critique that comes out of this show, it's because we care enough to cry. We care enough to complain. We care enough to tell you you could have done better. And if that doesn't sit well with you, you have no place in gaming. Go away. Play games. Have fun. But if we're going to make it grow and we're going to make it better, we're going to need feedback. We're going to need to do some critiquing. None of us here can afford to swallow the Kool-Aid. I, for one, certainly won't. So all I ask you again to do as a listener is to remember that every decision you make about gaming, the sites you visit, the sites you post on, what organizations you represent, all those things matter. Take them seriously.
We've gone through 4 of the top 5 Jerry rants of the entire Losers Bracket podcast history, and we have come to what is widely considered to be, in pretty much everyone that's ever listened to the show's opinion, the number 1 rant that he's ever done. No matter what, anytime we talk about rants that Jerry has done in the past, this one always seems to come up. This was actually from episode 17 when we had Annie Ecstasy LeYoung on the show, and Jerry went on a pretty strongly worded speech about multi-genre gamers. This was back on May 20th of 2010. If you have not heard it, you're in for a treat. Take a listen as Jerry gives what is, in my opinion, the greatest rant he has done to date. Multi-genre gaming. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the subject, my friend?
I'm going to be honest with all of you. And this, Annie, you're going to be here for one of my rants. So I want you to relax, Annie, because it's usually a scary thing. Because I've had about enough of this bullshit. Anybody listening to my voice, I want to pay it first of all, if Prodigy, if Triforce, if CG, if anybody wants to come on this show and talk about multi-genre gamers, I am more than willing to listen. So this is a standing invitation. Hell, bring the whole fucking arc on the goddamn show. I don't care. But I do notice there are 2 things happening in gaming right now that really sort of piss me the fuck off. The first thing that happens is there's this tinge of elitism. There is no idea of sport. In a matter of fact, most of the people that we run around don't get the business of sport. And you know what I like about you, Annie? I like 2 things. 1, you can fucking write. I can tell that you have gone somewhere and you've become educated. Let me make this clear to anybody hearing my voice. Being educated is really critical for gaming to advance. Because most parents want their children to go on and have a better life than them. And that generally involves, at least at a minimum, getting an undergraduate degree. Undergraduate degree, for those who don't know what that is a 4-year degree, often a bachelor of some kind. Could be a BS, a Bachelor of Science, but that's really important. Many of us now, if we want to make more than $50,000, $60,000 a year, have gone on to get a graduate degree, right? An MBA, an MA, an MS. This is critical. I mention this to you because all we have been doing since we have been doing our podcast, writing our articles, is trying to educate young people about the steps they need to get sponsors, about what they need to do. And I find two forces that seem to be nagging at us, and it starts to get somewhat annoying. The first force is really just kind of like entertainment. It's showmanship, right? I've got Empire Arcadia. They have contracts with their players where they're a management agency and they manage and promote their players. I'm sorry. That is ridiculous to me. That is absolutely ridiculous. Nowhere is esports in a place where you need managers, where you need promoters. That's not what the business of esports is. So yeah, at value, I reject that. I don't see that as the future. On the other side, you have what I often refer to as the old guard. This is the people that came from the Counter-Strike community, that decade long of, these are the things that matter. But both of them shouldn't even have a hand in the fight of what we do, but they can't help themselves. For example, we wrote an article, right? And Geek to Me, it's our blog. I never go on anybody else's blog and say shit to anybody, ever. I read, I think, that's good. But along comes these people from organizations, and it's just a couple, who are like, oh, you're not qualified to write about sponsorships. I'm like, what? Tens of thousands of dollars have poured out of VV Gaming into the pockets of gamers. That's one. Two, I've been over to 22 major events over the last 3 years, starting all the way back to Major League Gaming in Charlotte. So I've seen one or two things in my day. But along come the people. They're not there to benefit esports. They're not there to grow knowledge. They've never written anything to educate the outside world. What do? They attack. And you know why they attack? Because they feel threatened. And why they feel threatened is because they're not resting on their accomplishments anymore. They're resting on some sort of idea. There seems to be some kind of an idea that my kind of gamer is better than yours. Because both the Empire and Prodigy and CG, their idea of being a better gamer is they use the term, well, I'm a multi-genre gamer. I'm known. I do all this stuff. So therefore, what I do is I tell everybody, well, so what if you beat me at DJ Hero? So what if you beat me at this? I don't spend all my time doing that. I get out there and know. Well, you know what I say to you people? Fuck off. Come on this show and tell me how the fuck a multi-genre gamer does anything. Do you know how many kids I know are good multi-genre gamers? Fuck, that's why Ultimate Gamer was created, was to give people who play mini games and are good a chance to sort of get their personalities out there. It's a little bit about personality. It's a little bit about gaming excellence. It's a little bit about showmanship, because we need to identify people who are marketable, and Ultimate Gamer is good for the United States of America. Because people in America don't want to follow fucking sports we lose at. Fucking EG flies their fucking Counter-Strike team to Europe. They fucking get eliminated in group play, and then I've got to listen to a fucking DJ Wheat Live on 3 show that gets hijacked by fucking Sir Scoots, who cries about a fucking ruling regarding a yellow card for another Counter-Strike team. You know what that is? That's bullshit. What that is protecting brand identities. That is nothing to do with the growth of esports. Nothing. But you know what? We write a little article on the Chicago Tribune blog where we talk about things players need to do, and along comes somebody, and let me tell you how stupid they are. This is what pisses me off. They come on, and some clown says Counter-Strike players make $1,000 to $8,000 a month. And I say, look, this is not even going to make sense. Let's take your lowest answer. If a Counter-Strike team makes $1,000 a month, there are 5 players on the team. That's $5,000 a month. Someone's shelling out $60,000 a year. Now, granted, that could be pieced together, and that's the minimum. So I don't think there are too many teams that are doing that, if any. Along comes Sir Scoots, Mr. Counter-Strike himself, him and Alex. You know what? I don't even care about Counter-Strike. But along they come, and they're like, all right, well, maybe I don't know where he gets 8,000, but, 1 to 3,000. Okay, let's say it's 1 to 3,000. Let's say you're right. I concede it. But North Americans aren't getting, all right, we're on the lower end of that. Okay, so let's say Americans get $1,000 a month. Let's go with that argument. Guaranteed salary, all 5 players, plus travel, meals, products, whatever else is on your list. You know what that is? That's $12,000 a year. I don't think there's a single human being on the planet who can live on $12,000 a year. So that's not professional. You know, I am super critical of Major League Gaming, but I am critical about them because in many ways they may be our best hope. And by consistently letting them know where they are in error, they may be improved. And the more I learn about the old guard, and the more I learn about crap like Empire Arcadia, I start to think, you know, maybe Major League Gaming is the way it is for a good reason. Maybe they have actually done something good. Maybe they got sick and tired of the old guard, and they saw all this bullshit, and they said, fuck all this shit. They went and got $42.5 million, and they decided, you know what, fuck all you, we're going to play Halo. And I think they may actually be the smartest people in the room, because the only thing that the United States is always on top of is Halo. Why? Because somebody did right. And you know what? I don't care about Counter-Strike the same way most Americans don't care about fucking StarCraft, because Americans don't like to watch people lose. That's why if you go and ask somebody, well, what do you think about soccer? Oh, soccer's gay. It's a fag sport. Why? Not because soccer doesn't take an enormous amount of skill and endurance, but because America isn't good at it. And American culture is such, if we're not good at it, we don't care about it. So to Sir fucking Scoots, who's crying on his fucking Twitter account, shut the fuck up, LordJerith. If you think for a minute I'm afraid of you or in any ways am going to be intimidated by EG or you or Alex, I don't care if DJ Wheat spends a whole fucking show talking about VV Gaming. Not at all. I will tell you what I am going to say. We do invaluable things to teach people about esports. We do important things to make all gamers feel like they can be a part of esports. They don't have to be multi-genre gamers who are known. They don't have to be some elitist pig who plays a decade-old game and who relies on old knowledge. They don't. They get to enjoy themselves and have fun and be a part of esports. And if that pisses any of you off, go fuck yourself, because we are going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep writing articles, and I'm going to keep critiquing. This is what No Fluff sounds like. This is what No Fluff is about. I don't whine about bad calls our Gears or Halos teams get in matches. We just accept it and move on, because it's drama and it's nuance, and we don't have time for that. And that's what pissed me off this week.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Okay, I'm good.
Wow. How do we even follow that?
Yeah, I don't know if we can, because my panties need to be changed.
Whoa. So, yeah, I'm glad I got to get that off my chest. Hopefully I didn't scare anybody here. How's everybody doing?
I think I still have a pulse. Oh my god. That was a little intense, I'll admit it.
Yeah, I had to get that off my chest. Annie, are you still okay?
Yep.
I changed my underwear.
I hope in a good way. I hope that's like a good way.
What?
You know it.
No.
That's
You know what? No. That is
After
wrong.
you're too young. We told you
No.
not to play
I
Red
played
Light.
Red Light. I'm
Now you do with this.
experienced.
It's terrible.
I'm experienced.
And there you have it, the top 5 Jerry rants of all time. Or at least on the losers bracket. I mean, he's had some pretty good ones while we've been off the air, too. But definitely want you to thank you for joining us on this trip down memory lane, and I definitely think it's really interesting to point out that a lot of the words that Jerry spoke in these rants, even though most of them were about 2 years ago, still ring true to this day. But what are your thoughts? I want to hear from you. Leave a comment on YouTube where this is being posted. Email me directly. My email address is paradise@vvv-gaming.com. You can also find me on Twitter. You can see the address right here. It's twitter.com/vvvparadise. Just give me some feedback. I'd love to hear it. The other hosts, @LordJerith on Twitter. That's the man doing the rants. And then Kurt from Check 6. He's at ENE Keyhunt. You can definitely contact any of us with any feedback that you have. We'd love to hear it. Just like Jerry said in the second rant on this top 5. And number 2, he said, hey, we need feedback to continue to grow. And that's just like our show. So 100 episodes down. We hope to have some more great rants in the next 100 episodes. And we hope that you'll continue to tune in weekly and enjoy the shows that we're putting out for you. We greatly, greatly appreciate your viewership. Thank you so much. As always, I'd like to sign out the show by giving some shout-outs to our sponsors, first of all, SteelSeries, GamerGrub, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com, and, of course, Power Glove, who gives us the music that we use every week on the show. I've heard that they're working on some new material. Hopefully we'll hear that soon, and if we do, maybe we can get them back on the show to talk about it. That'd be kind of cool. Additionally, with guests, if you'd like to see someone in the next 100 episodes on the show, shoot me an email. I'll see what I can do. Make it happen. Our podcast homepage, if you want to listen to the audio version, is vvgaming.podbean.com. You can get our audio show on iTunes. The video show is always going to be found on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The VVV Gaming. You can go over there, find every episode of the Losers Bracket that we have done to date. Make sure to like the videos. Give us the thumbs up, because we greatly appreciate that. Twitter, we're at Losers Bracket. You can follow us there for all the latest news and information. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you've enjoyed Jerry's best rants of all time. And we'll see you back here again soon, guys. Take care. Have a good night.